so before we start play, the first thing that Brian and I have to do is we're going to look at these discovery tiles and mentally try to decide which one's the best for us. So I'm going to take this one.
That's not the best one for you.
It is.
And this one's mine.
All right.
Oh, you're done.
And the next thing we do is we will place it in this little swirly spot here. This is for all discoveries. And you will place it face up so you can see, oh, I've got Act 1, Wonders of the Galaxy.
I got Markarian Radical Group.
Oh, boy. The other 3 discoveries get removed from the board. We take one of these randomly. It's going to go into the discovery tiles. And then we will get these stories. We'll remove the 2 stories that we're not using from the game. And the other ones will all be set off to the side.
Very good.
All right, so before we start, let's just have a quick rundown of kind of what you're looking at when you see captain cards. This is an alert card. It'll have the name at the top. These function a little bit differently than normal cards because they actually allow you to reduce 1 damage card received whenever you do an encounter. If you look down here, you can gain 1 to each one of these stats whenever you're playing them, or you can use it as 1 movement, which is indicated by the up arrow. Normally, cards look like the diplomacy card. It'll say diplomacy, letting you know that this card will have its best stats in diplomacy, and then it will have 2 other stats as well. And then, or you can use it as a movement card. All right, so we're getting ready to start off, and we'll go by the phases here. So right now we're in the attack phase. This is the beginning of the game. So Brian or I will not have any tiles that we can use to play against each other. So we'll skip that phase and we'll go to the captain power phase. If we have a captain power in our hand, then we would place it face down, showing that we're ready to, play one of these cards and that we're good to go. Do you have one?
Captain power?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
I don't either, so we can skip this phase and we'll go to the movement phase. So I get to go first because I just randomly decided at the beginning that I'm the first player.
Yes, sir.
And I am going to play.
He's been to space the last time.
Well, yeah, that's the
most
rules.
recent one who's been to space.
In my mind. So I'm going to play these 2 cards as movement cards because you could get the stats or gain a movement for each one of these up arrows. So I gain 2 movement, and then I will move my ship 2 spaces and go on top of the discovery location. It's important to note when you use a card for movement, it gets put into discard and you can't use it as stats anymore for this round.
We'll also move 2 to my discovery.
All right, so earlier when we were talking about, hey, I'm spending 2 movement points when I'm playing my cards and etc., etc. Here's the other thing you got to do when you're using the movement. There is a movement tracker here on the scoring board. Every time you use a movement, you will move a space. Brian moved 2 as well. So right now we're on space 4. When we reach, or when we exceed space 6, the round marker will go up 1. And this happens, and that's how time is tracked in the game.
If you're playing a 3-player game, it would be 9. A 4-player game would be 12. So with 4 players, every time it comes around, it would move up.
All right, so we did our movement phase. Now we are going to go to the encounter phase, starting with me. And I'm at a discovery. It's Act 1 of Wonders of the Galaxy. And it says I require a 7 navigation or 7 engineering, and you can find these at the bottom of the discovery cards, and the act will be lit up at the top as well, with a brief story, and then rewards if I succeed. So now I just need to find cards in my hand that'll allow me to achieve this. I have a navigation card. It grants me 3 to navigation, and then my character has a 4 in navigation on my captain board. So adding those together, I have a 7, which is all I need in order to do the discovery. And I'll gain the reward, which is 3 victory points. Brian's going to move it for us. And then I go at +1 on a preparation track of my choice. And I'm going to take military superiority, because I am commander of the Revolved. So, not evolved, revolved. And then I'll gain 4 random resources. So in order to get random resources in the game, take these 4 beautiful dice, roll them, and whatever symbol they pop up on is the dice, the resources I get. So 3 red and 1 yellow. These will go into my cargo hold, filling up 1 square each. And that is it for my encounter phase, and it's Brian's turn.
I'm also at a discovery. I think it's important to note that the discoveries are things you can choose to do or not. We're just doing them because we like to do them. They act as a story that goes throughout your galaxy, like an overall kind of goal that you're trying to achieve. I need a 7 navigation or a 7 engineering. I have 3 on both of those stats for Matriarch Evan, so I'm going to play 2 cards. 3 plus my 3 equals 6, plus the 1 equals 7. So I succeeded this discovery, so I take one of my counters and put it on the plate, the Act 1. And then I would read my rewards. I'd read the story too because they're cool. And then my rewards are I get 3 VP because I'm better than Kenny.
That's the same as me. Come on now.
Yeah, but I'm on top of you. 2 plus 2 on any preparation track.
Oh, that's garbage.
I think I'm going to take science.
Good call.
Oh, man. And because I am number 1 on that, I believe I get to take this right now, don't I?
Yes, you do. And I would also get the Paragon of War for being the leader in military superiority.
And so these are those VPs that you gain at the end of the game if you have this. But it also puts a target on your back because this is something that if I pass Kenny in military, I would take that card from him. It also says I get an artifact shard.
Oh, man.
And I will turn it upside down in my cargo hold. And I get 1 resource. And since it doesn't say random, I get to choose my resource.
Yeah.
And I will pick a blue.
Beautiful.
I try.
All right. So we're done with that part. And now we'll go to the upgrade phase. Now, upgrade phase can only happen if you are at a location that you control. And then, just so you're aware that discoveries aren't technically considered locations. They're not places that you can perform repairs or upgrades on your ship.
Planets, asteroid fields, and space stations.
Yes. So then we would go to the refresh phase, which is, we look at our cards that we have left over.
I have none.
And we draw back up to our hand size.
Which is 4.
Mm-hmm. And then we would prepare for the next round. I pass the first player marker over to Brian.
Because he basically has to. I'm the best.
It's, I guess, a rule we weren't aware of. It's not in the rule book, but if you're playing against someone named Brian, they have to get the first player.
This is true. This is very true. So, I have an interesting hand, and that's what Emergence Event is really about. It's what you do with your hand of cards to best take advantage of the situation you have. I could move, get to this planet, and explore this tile and this tile, gaining 2 VPs, 1 for each, but I couldn't do the tile. Or I could move over here, discover this tile, and go for an open space. It's all a gamble, because really if I fail two or 3 times in the game, I'm probably not going to win. So I need to maximize my efforts every single time. I have a resource card. Now the resource cards allow you to gain that particular kind of resource, and if you choose to take those resources, that card goes out of the game, making your deck smaller. Or those are the only cards in the game that have 2 movement on them, so this is a 2 movement icon. So I can keep that in my deck with the 2 movement. And I'm definitely going to play this as movement. I'm going to go here and here and have to make my decision because I actually have another resource card. And so I could claim resources or I could move 2. And since I have a maximum of 3 movement, unless I get an upgrade to my tech or an upgrade with an artifact, using this as 2 movement probably isn't going to help me. So I'm probably going to use it as resources because I need those resources for the future. So I'm going to go ahead and blow this for resources. And I play it and it's out of the game, and I collect my 2 blue resources and I put them in my cargo hold.
Oh yeah.
That leaves me with 1 open space. I'm going to be where there is nothing in space. And if I'm in nothing in space during the downtime between my turn, my action will be to draw an open space card to see if I can succeed at that. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stay right there.
All right, it's my turn to move, and I'm going to juice it, as they say. Going to play these 3 cards for movement.
Hey!
Hit the guns. Move over here, and you'll get to see how we explore galaxy tiles. So I've spent 2 movement to get here. My 3rd movement will be spent to reveal this tile. So in order to reveal a galaxy tile, I'll roll 6-sided dice, which is done like this. Hey, I rolled a 6! I will rotate the tile to where the 6 is facing the side that my ship is on. And then we would flip it over, keeping that side closest to my ship. And that is how each galaxy tile will be revealed during the game. Now, when you reveal a tile, you also, the first thing you do is draw from the discovery tile stack.
Completely random.
Yep. And then we will see what discoveries reveal in this galaxy, which is Act 3 of Hidden Civilizations and Anomalies. Brian and I don't have those current stories, so it's out there somewhere else in the galaxy for us to find.
Yeah, that could have been my Act 2 or my Act 3, and that could have been his Act 2 or his Act 3. So discovering the galaxy and finding where your discoveries are and exploring the galaxy is really one of the major things in Emergence Event.
And a final thing is when you explore galaxy tile, you will gain 1 VP, which Brian's going to add to my score now.
Yeah. So Kenny got a VP from his discovery, so he moved up, and so he's definitely in the lead at this point. And if you recall, we were at 4, I moved 2, and then he moved 3, because we passed the first number 1 again, and this goes up, and so it's at number 2. When it hits number 4, we would actually add the more difficult cards, and when it adds number 7, we add the really difficult cards.
Yeah.
So it's my encounter phase. I'm in open space, so I'm going to draw up to my hand size of 4. In open space, if you have an open space encounter, you can draw up to your hand size. So if I would have spent 3 cards, I would have drawn up. Why wouldn't you play all the cards you possibly could and then resupply? Because you should have an idea of what stat cards you have. And then I'm going to draw an open space card right off the top. It is an ambush. Well, thank goodness.
Ooh.
If I succeed, I get those things under success. If I fail, I get those things under failure. I need a 7 military, tactical, or a 7 diplomacy. Well, I'm horrible at tactical, and I'm okay at diplomacy. Why couldn't it have been science? Luckily for me, I can do the tactical because I have the cards to do it. But I also have this thing called an open space card. And this is one of the reasons why I came here, because even if I would have not been able to succeed, I could have played this open space card to ignore the effects of the open space event. And so I knew from my hand that this was a good gamble for me. I just got lucky, and I have a 2 tactical, a 4 tactical, a 5, 7 tactical. And I needed a 7 for the ambush. So they thought they were ambushing me, but I ambushed them.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I get 2 VPs, and I get 1 of each resource.
Oh,
yeah. And 1 reward tile.
Man, this is garbage.
Now, reward tiles are drawn randomly. They are these tiles. So I will just draw 1 off any of the stacks available. And I'll show you what I have. I have this. We're not going to show Kenny what that is.
Not cool.
So we'll put
I gotta go watch the video.
the VCR, the VHS. Of,
Yeah, rewind it.
So I am done with my turn. I can no longer have an open space encounter in this tile because
Correct.
I've had one there.
Right. So I'm getting ready to do my open space encounter now. Hopefully I'll be as lucky as Brian. Going to draw up to my hand size. I get to draw 3 cards because I did blow most of my cards getting here. Oh yeah, these are all good stat cards. Sweet. So I will draw an open space card, and it is Ship Escort.
Aww.
Got to escort some guys because they don't know how to do their own business. So I'm going to need a 7 security or a 7 diplomacy. Ooh, my diplomacy is garbage, just so you know, guys.
The commander, you mean?
Yeah. Woo.
He does some.
It doesn't look good. I'm going to tell you that right now. I actually fail the open space encounter.
Yes! He's not
I only had a 5 in diplomacy total and a 5 security total, so I just wasn't up to the task of escorting these maniacs. Maybe they were acting crazy. I don't know.
What's that failure?
So let's look at the failure result, why don't we? I'm going to take 2 damage cards to my discard pile.
So damage cards look exactly like every back of the captain.
Yep. The beautiful thing about damage cards is they don't have any stats. And they only grant half movement. So these are basically dead cards in my hand. And they will be in my hand later on when I shuffle them back in. And then I get a -1 to my security and diplomacy next turn because, you know, those weren't bad enough already. So Brian's going to get me out these 2 little markers here.
Oh, man.
And I will place them right next to the stats that were affected. Making those terrible stats already more terrible.
I guess you should have.
Not done what I did.
Now, why that matters, why that's intriguing is I have no idea if he would have been able to do it if he would have saved a card and not explored here. He might have been able to do it if he kept one of those cards, but he chose to move and reveal this instead because he thought he would get the cards, but he didn't. So in the end, it may have cost him.
I actually could have done it.
This is my cargo hold on my ship, Matriarch Evans. 1 resource per square. This is my, if you recall, it's either my reward that Kenny didn't see or it's my artifact shard. Why do I put them upside down? Because there are people who can then destroy these kinds of things or steal these kinds of things. And you don't want your opponents to know what they are. I actually have no more spaces until I upgrade. So I definitely need to get to a place so I can get into this tactical board because I need to upgrade my stuff. But I can't upgrade now even though I have all these wonderful resources because I need to be at a planet, asteroid, or space station. So I gained, Kenny gained a VP from the exploration of the galaxy tile, but he failed at his open space. I succeeded in my open space, so I leapfrogged him. So once again, the winner is in the lead. And then the movement has gone up and we're in number 2. This hasn't changed, so none of that stuff has changed hands. So the first phase is the attack phase. Kenny is number 1 player, so he'll announce are there any attacks. And you know that he doesn't, that I actually have a red chit. So I'm going to play it face down and say I have a chit. If no one else does, I flip it over and I get to steal 1 resource. So I will take...
You keep your filthy hands off.
I will take the red.
Oh, that's my source of life.
I know.
All right.
So then this gets discarded.
Nice.
Then it would be the next phase.
Captain Power phase.
I have a Captain Power.
I don't.
Oh, no.
I'm on the ropes, guys.
This is the whammy. So each Captain Power has a positive that I could have kept and used for my own power, or a negative. I'm going to use the negative, which is...
You get both, actually.
Oh, well, then I'm going to use the negative right now, which is each player, that would be you, Kenny, must discard a tactical card, which is a card that has...
I don't have one.
Oh, no.
What happens to me?
So a tactical card is a card that says tactical at the top. He doesn't have one. I figured he didn't because he used it a lot earlier. If they can't, they discard 2 resources.
What? What are you laughing about, Keith? All right, so I'm going to discard these 2 reds.
Right. If he wouldn't have been able to discard those resources, he would have lost VPs.
I would have rather discarded the resources.
And so I get to keep this Captain Power in my play area, and it's going to give me either +4 tactical, or I can ignore all damage cards for the next encounter. So
anything else, Your Highness? Jeez.
I'm ready to go. It's your turn now.
Oh, I can do movement now? Sweet, thank you. All right, let's see. What am I going to do here after all that garbage? I'm going to spend 2 movement because I'm an explorer, apparently, instead of a fighter. So here's my 2 movement that I'm going to spend. It's going to move it up on the movement track for us. 1 movement will be to go on this asteroid. The second will be to reveal this galaxy tile.
Gives you a VP, too.
Yep. I'll earn my victory points through exploration, dang it. Here's my 6-sided dice. Got a 5. So, once again, we will take the 5, I'll place it over here close to my ship and then flip it over. And then I'm going to draw a discovery. And it is Act 2 of Wonders of the Galaxy. That's mine, guys.
Oh.
Looks like the tables are finally turning.
No, they're not.
In my mind, they're turning. So now it's Brian's turn to do his movement.
All right. Oh, my movement, huh? I want to use my security card to move 1 to this planet.
Ooh.
And that is it.
So we are at the encounter phase. I'm on an asteroid, so you need either security, navigation, or engineering in order to take it over. We'll show these little helpful sheets here. The target number for us to reach is 6 to 9. If I get a 6, I'm going to take 3 damage cards into my hand. You don't want that. You want to try to get up to the maximum number. So I'm looking to get a 9, and really I can only do it in navigation. My base stat is a 4 in navigation. I have a command card, which makes it a 6, and then a navigation card, which makes it a 9. So I'm going to take 0 damage, and I'm going to gain 3 VP because we're in the first epoch. So Brian will give me 3 VP. And the reward for taking over an asteroid field is I can reveal 1 galaxy tile of my choice, and I get to roll on the reward table, or I can take a refined trinium and I can roll. Refined trinium is used in the game to jump galaxy tiles instead of just moving 1 hex at a time. But I don't need that right now. We haven't explored a lot, so I'm going to go with the reveal a galaxy tile. And I'm going to reveal this one over here by Brian.
Now you say, why does he do that? Because he's taking a VP I could have got.
Because I get the VP for it. Let's see. I'm going to put this in such a way that it's as far away from him as usefully possible. If that made sense in English, you're amazing. He's going to put a discovery on it. Oh, it's Act 1 of Hidden Civilizations. Maybe it backfired a little bit on me. And I'm going to roll a 6-sided dice for my reward table roll now. So I rolled a 6, and I get to add 1 for any discoveries I currently control, which is 1. So I'm a 7 on the reward table, and Keith will move it up eventually to show you that.
Yeah, I can just tell you what it is. 2 random resources and 1 reward tile.
Okay. Here's the 2 random resources. I get a blue and a red.
Hey, the rainbow.
Yep. And then I'm going to take a reward tile.
You get an artifact shard.
Oh, yeah.
And a refined trinium.
So I've got all these placed in my cargo hold, and the refined trinium goes in the TDD storage. So I placed a control marker when I took over my asteroid field, and since I took it over with navigation, which is a blue stat, I go up 1 in the scientific enlightenment track, putting me 1 behind Brian on the preparations. So now it's Brian's turn to take over a planet.
Alright, I'm best at diplomacy, so I'm going to use tactical.
Makes sense to me.
Well, I have a captain power that gives me +4 tactical, so I might as well. So +4 plus my 2 is 6, plus this card is 7, 8.
Yes, so he's 1 short of the max.
So I will take a damage.
Yep, and it goes into his hand.
And then I get I go 1 up on the military track, so I'm right on top of Kenny.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I'm going to try to steal that VP from him. I put my...
Oh, he's controlling lots of places here.
Yeah, so now I roll my reward, right?
Yes, and I will give you 3 VPs.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
A 2.
Plus the 1.
Well, that's true. You got a 3.
So I get 2 random resources and a refined trinium. 2 red. But as you can see, my thing is full, so I don't need to take them, but I will take the refined trinium and put that in the CBD place.
So in other words, you are a waster of resources.
That's right, I am, but I'm ready to upgrade, so, you know.
All right, so finally we get to go to an upgrade phase where we can do something.
Yes.
So I'll get to do my upgrades first. I have 1 of each resource, but I'm at an asteroid field. All right, so since I'm at an asteroid, each location that's like a planet, asteroid, space station, they have a control action. The control action at an asteroid field is trade. So I can take any existing resource I have and trade it for another one. I'm going to trade the yellow for a red, And then I'm going to spin these 2 reds because that is the cost of my tactical upgrade, level 1. And I'll take this marker here and I'll place it over the resource cost, showing that I have +1 tactical now for the rest of the game. And then I would look and see, is there anything else that I can do here? Currently there's not, unless I just didn't want this blue resource because you're allowed to trade twice. But I'll keep the blue and we'll go to Brian's upgrade phase.
So I have lots of resources. I'm at a planet, and the planet action is a repair. I can spend 1 resource and repair 1 damage card. But I'm going to do my upgrades first because I want to make sure I don't waste that opportunity. I only can upgrade 1 color a turn, so I'm going to go ahead and spend these 2 blue for science. And I will spend these 2 red for security.
There's too many upgrades going on over there.
And so I have these 2 blue, and I know I'm going to need those 2 blue. I also need that yellow, so I'm going to go ahead and ditch a blue to repair this damage card. So I won't have this damage card in my hand. So it goes right back into the damage pile, and I'm done.